Welcome to The Grow Show, powered by Steel. On The Grow Show, we share ideas, tips, tactics, and insights to help you grow your landscaping business based on our team's 40 years of experience running a landscaping company and working with other owners and their teams to do the same. New episodes are released weekly on Wednesdays. Without further ado, here's your host, Marty Grunder.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the case may be. This is Marty Grunder from Grunder Landscaping Company and the Grow Group with another exciting edition of The Grow Show, powered by Steel. Say, listen, today on The Grow Show, we want to talk about keeping your team engaged with the company culture. Something, quite frankly, I've learned a lot about in my almost 40 years of business history. And there's three things specifically that we want to talk about today on The Grow Show. We want to help you stay engaged with your company culture. Those three things are, number one, the best thing to do to keep your team engaged is to constantly talk about the things that matter most. So that's number one. Number two, the morning rollout, that environment sets the tone for the whole day. And I would argue it sets the tone for the whole company. The way you do that morning rollout matters. We're going to talk about that. And then finally, this concept of inspecting what you expect. So we're going to talk about the three things, talk about what matters most, the morning environment sets the tone, and then inspect what you expect. So the first thing, I guess it was last month, we had my friend Joe Calloway from Nashville, Tennessee, New York Times, Wall Street Journal best-selling author, fabulous professional speaker. Joe doesn't speak anymore. He's retired from speaking and he does a lot of other things, but he still gets online with me and helps me and joins us on the podcast. Joe was the person that taught me the value of talking about the things that matter most, talking repeatedly over and over again about what matters most at your company. So I think the very best way to keep your team engaged in the company culture is to constantly talk about the things that matter most. And that starts with the vision, the ideal state, where we're headed, what's the Super Bowl, and then the mission, what we're going to do on a daily basis to achieve that vision, and then the core values, the beliefs and the behaviors that must be present in the organization to win. So vision, mission, core values. Engagement starts with that. There has to be something that resonates with someone. The why is there. Somebody is working with your company because they believe in where you're going. They like what they're doing on a daily basis to get to that vision. And the core values, the beliefs and the behaviors, which ours at Grunder are quality, leadership, teamwork, and profitability. It starts with those, okay? And I'm going to brag. You might almost think that I'm cocky, but I do feel very strongly that I have this vision, mission, core value thing dialed in very, very well at our company. We have a company president now, Seth Flum. So I'm not doing the day-to-day. And our culture has gotten better and better under his leadership. It's very clear on where we're going. It all starts with that. At Grunder, the vision, the mission, and the core values, they're not just words on a piece of paper. They are truly who we are. In the morning huddle that we have every morning with all production people in a circle, if you've been to one of our field trips, you've seen it. I hope you would come to our field trip. If you're a landscape pro, you get a lot out of it. Come see us. But we start every morning with reciting the mission statement. We call on people to say what the core values are. It's very, very important. Again, we hire to them and we fire to them. All right. Quality. If you're not someone that's going to do quality work, you're not going to last here. If you're not a quality person, we're not going to hire you. Leadership. Are you someone that thinks it's all about you, or do you really understand what being a leader is? Teamwork. Are you a good team player? Do you embrace safety in terms of issues there with teamwork and leadership? And then the last one is profitability. You might be a really good landscaper, but if you can't bring a job in under budget and you're taking way too long to do things, that's not going to work either. So those are our core values. You got to show what's important to you, and you have to have core values. But starting all the meeting there, they matter. And we talk nonstop about what matters most. All of the narrative around the vision, the mission, and the core values and where we're going and what we're doing, that all matters tremendously. We have a saying around here that Seth came up with, and it's three things that we talk about. It's kind of like a management philosophy. Trust the process, all right? Trust what we're doing. Give your fellow team member the benefit of the doubt. We've got a situation here. You may join us from another company. You may think you have a better way to do it. We're happy to hear your way. But right now, you got to do it our way. And we'll talk to you about your way. Maybe we can add some elements of your way. If your way is truly better and we believe that, then we'll implement it. But right now, you got to trust the process. You got to trust what we're doing. We want to keep everything that we're doing as simple as we can. It's been one of the secrets to our incredible growth. We were just named one of Dayton, Ohio's 50 fastest growing companies. Not bad for a guy that's been in business almost 40 years. The level at which we have grown here has been tremendous. But you gotta keep it simple to do that. So trust the process, keep it simple, and be mindful of that. And then lastly, prioritize and execute. Every day is about listing your priorities, and every day is about going out and get them done. We talk about that. We talk about that nonstop. So the other thing that's very important to us is cleanliness matters. In many ways, we are in the cleaning business here. A landscaping company in many ways is a cleaning business. So the way we look here at the office, the way I look when I come in a nice shirt, the way my desk looks, the way my truck looks, the way our facility looks. Folks, I can't tell you how many visits, and I've been to over 200 landscaping companies in the last 25 years to work with them and help them grow their business. I can't tell you how many of them I had on my list of recommendations to clean up the bathroom. Folks, we spent over $30,000 to redo our bathroom 2 winters ago. In some ways, it may think that I need my head examined. We don't have granite countertops or anything like that. We needed a bigger bathroom, and we needed a brand new clean bathroom. We gutted the whole thing, put everything in it. It's nice, it's clean, it matters. And I'll let you in on a secret. You know who cleans the bathrooms here? The guy that's talking to you on the Grow Show. All right. So what do you think that does? Now, we don't do a social media post of me scrubbing a toilet. We don't tell anyone that I'm doing that. Okay. But you're going to bump into me once in a while cleaning the bathroom. You're going to see that. And we hope that that sends a message. So cleanliness matters. Your truck being clean matters. Job site cleanliness matters. All of those things sets the tone for how we do things. And we talk about that nonstop. And that bleeds in to the next point that I want to make, that the morning environment sets the tone. I cannot impress upon all of you leaders and owners of landscaping companies that have joined us today on the Grow Show, powered by Steel in the brand new Steel Studios. I can't tell you how important it is to have a smooth morning rollout. A smooth morning rollout is indicative of a well-run company, folks. You can't fake a smooth morning rollout. It says a lot about a company. Several years ago, I was visiting a company in Chicago, Illinois, and Vince and I went in and did the trip together. We came in the night before. We went to dinner with the owner. The next day, we got up and we were watching their morning rollout, and we got there about 6:45. I got to be honest with you, it's the worst morning rollout I've ever witnessed in my life. Really nice young man that runs the business, but man, the morning rollout was horrible. I think the first crew got out. They started at 7. The first crew got out about 7:40. I don't think the last crew left till like 9:20. It was bad. What I was able to gain from watching that rollout were so many things that I could help this young man with his business. But one of the things was fascinating. As I'm standing there, I overheard a conversation between a manager and a team leader. And he said, well, you can't go to site 1 because we're on cash only at site 1. You got to go to Lowe's. And I was able to realize they had cash flow problems. And not only were they not going to site 1, which, by the way, site 1 delivers products, folks. I don't know why you're going and browsing the aisle with 3 people in the truck at site 1 or going to Lowe's because you think they're going to walk by the lights for their house, the power tools, the candy aisle, the pop, all that. No, we're trying to get on the job site as fast as we can. Again, an edition we had here, I think it was episode number 19, I talked to you about the way we pay out metrics, that we pay on hours worked and we pay on on-site time. So if you're at site 1, not only are you not working hours, you also have a double whammy. You got indirect time as well because you're there not in billable work. It's not on-site time. So that stuff becomes very, very important. And the morning rollout, when it's done right, it's like a beautiful concert, folks, with everybody in the orchestra playing what they're supposed to play, chiming in when they're supposed to chime in. It's beautiful. A morning rollout is that way. I'll ask you, come to one of our fall field trips, folks, and see this in action here. Trust me, you'll be impressed. And quite frankly, if I'm going to be blunt with you, after 40 years, we really ought to have a good morning rollout, right? I mean, we ought to know what we're doing in that part, and it matters. Our mornings are extremely organized. Everyone knows what they're doing, where they're going. They knew that the night before when they went home. That's part of the secret to our success here. Thanks to Aspire, the wonderful industry software, Our schedule is set. Our trucks are set up so team leaders can focus on their work. We try to make it as easy as possible for them. We try to enable them to think from the neck up. We don't want them to have to remember to put shovels on or rakes or sprayers or a blower. The stuff that they use with regularity is in an iPack toolbox behind the cab of the truck. We have custom built trucks, and we think that matters. All of that stuff engages them in your company and in the process. And we want them focused on doing landscape. Years ago, we used to have a company, we used to wash our own trucks. We don't do that anymore. We have a company come in and wash them for us because we're landscapers. Again, we want our team to get focused on what we're doing, and the less distractions around getting out of here in the morning matter. So in terms of engaging in your culture and seeing what you're doing, I can't think of a better thing to work on than looking at that morning rollout. Maybe join one of our peer groups and have us come, because one of the stops will be that group comes and they watch your morning rollout. They've learned a lot from watching our rollout. We've learned a lot from watching over 200 rollouts in the history that I've been running the Grow Group. So be mindful of that. Other things I think that matters. There's a push sweeper that I do all the concrete floors here with. A lot of times I'm out in the morning and I'm pushing the sweeper. In fact, before I came up into the podcast studio, the Steel Studios on the second floor of our building here, before I came in to do this episode today, I saw some mud got tracked in, and I went and I grabbed my little push sweeper and I went around and cleaned it all up. There were some crews coming back. They saw me doing that. Don't you think I'm teaching when I do that and I'm showing them what's important? All right. Don't you think maybe when I'm not around, they'll sweep up a mess? Don't you think that maybe they'll clean up a job site a little bit better because they're seeing how Seth and I do things around here? So that stuff matters, folks. It matters a lot. And I know that constantly doing little things like that in front of them makes a big difference. I know our team's names. Seth knows every single employee's name here. I take an interest in all of them. Dale Carnegie said in his wonderful book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, take an interest in others, will take an interest in you. I'm not in here every day anymore. I'm not running the business each and every day. Seth is. Seth takes engagement to a whole new level. He's out there. He has a safety vest on. He's talking to people. He's helping. He's saying hello. Even though he's president of a multi-million-dollar firm, he realizes that his presence in the morning sets the tone. It sets the tone big time, folks. If someone has their shirt untucked, we say something. If someone has their hat on other than the right way, we say something. If something looks unsafe, we stop that. Seth and I in the morning are constantly looking for evidence of people supporting our core values and doing things the way that we want them done. Maybe it's time for you to start adopting a similar philosophy if you're not there in the morning. It's the most impactful hour of your day, even just your presence. You don't have to undermine anyone or go out and chew anyone, all right? You could post a video on your social media feed saying how proud you are of the team rolling out. You could post it on your private Facebook page. But I think it's important to be engaged with your team and to be with them. So again, we're talking about ways to keep your team engaged with company culture. Today here on the Grow Show, powered by Steel, the first thing we talked about was to talk about the things that matter most over and over and over again. Your vision, your mission, your core values, your client satisfaction, talking through those things. The morning environment sets the tone. A smooth morning roll-up is very indicative of a very well-run company. Get yours running well. Set the tone in the morning. Look at your truck setups. Look at the cleanliness of your shop. What does your bathroom look like? What do your people look like? How is all that stuff that you're doing here on the mothership, how is that teaching them to when they break out and go to various other job sites and little microcultures can establish themselves? How different is the culture on the job site than the one we see when we're all together here at the mothership? That's what we're after. And then finally, inspect what you expect. You can't lay out all these great plans and talk a big game if you don't hold people accountable, folks. Again, I mentioned in episode 19 of the Grow Show, powered by Steel, to read Henry Evans' book, Winning with Accountability. Pick it up, read it. But I think in terms of accountability, it means that we are holding people accountable. And when we hear the word holding people accountable, people think, oh gosh, that's terrible. It's about getting expectations clear. It's about having clarity of purpose. It's about having specificity in the goals and what we're doing. And I think it's important. First and foremost, you as a leader have to hold yourself accountable to the culture that you wish to have present in your organization. You've got to set the gold standard for the things that matter most. You want your clients taken care of? You got to take care of clients. The minute you talk poorly about Mrs. McGillicuddy in front of the team and how picky she is and what a pain in the butt she is, you've just given your entire team license to do the same thing. You've got to emulate the behaviors that you want to see present in your own people. Again, I say it all the time. You, owners and leaders of landscaping companies, have to be great at what you want your followers to be good at. You have to manage by walking around. You got to be engaged. You got to be there. Our president, Seth, is outstanding at this. Get out of your chair and go around. 2 times a month, Seth and I leave the office here at 11 o'clock on a Friday. I drive. He works on his iPad while we go, and we go to job sites. We catch up. I save things to talk to him about for that 2.5 hours that we spend together. We go through Jimmy John's. We get Seth's favorite turkey sandwich, which I've adopted as my favorite turkey sandwich. To be honest with you, it's fun. Last week when we did it, Seth sent me a text that later on Friday night around 6, and he said, hey, I really enjoy driving around the job sites with you. It's fun, and it's good for us to see what our people are doing. Our men and women that work, they love it when we come out. We have cold drinks. We say hello, show us what you're doing. We'll knock on the door. We'll talk to a client. So Seth and I get our hands on the 2 most important things that make our business work, our team and our clients. So again, you've got to inspect what you expect. All this stuff ties together, folks. There is no magical silver bullet to have a great culture. It's, again, about being very intentional about your vision, your mission, your core values, what's important around here, how we work, how we treat each other. It's about a smooth morning rollout because I think it sets the tone. That morning environment, how the place goes, what we're doing, how it is. When we come in our morning rollout, there's energetic music blaring on the speakers. Then our team has a huddle. They get on the microphone. We recite the mission statement. We talk about any issues we had from the day before. We talk about anything that's come up. On Wednesdays, we do a little training, but we're constantly engaging with the team every morning. We're setting the tone. And then inspect what you expect. You got to go out and you got to see how it's going. And I just don't believe in absentee ownership. I am not here near as much as I used to, okay? But I am still here at a level that I'm making an impact on the entire organization. And I think that's important. You know, Seth can't run this company from home. He's got to be in here. I've got to be in here some. It still has my name on the door. Now, I'm careful about what I do and how I do it because Seth's running the show now. But you've got to make all those things work together. So at the end of the day, folks, I don't care if you're my friend Tim Portland's Yellowstone Landscape Company, which is almost a $500 million a year company, or you're a $500,000 a year company, or you just started and you're $100,000. The 3 little things here that we do, the clarity of purpose, talking about what matters most, the morning environment, the rollout. Heck, when I started my business, folks, I had a little 20 by 20 barn I rented, and it was a dump, but it was the cleanest damn 20 by 20 barn you ever saw in your life. I had 3 trucks. They were clean. We tucked our shirts in. There's nothing I have said here in the last 18 minutes that should be overwhelming you that you don't understand. And you're like, well, that's Marty. He can do that. No, you can do this too. I won't accept that. You can do this. It matters. Okay. So again, number 1, talk about what matters most, have a morning environment that sets the tone, and then get out there and inspect what you expect. I hope we helped you in a small way today on the Grow Show powered by Steel, emanating from the new Steel Studios. We will talk to you next week. Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Grow Show. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and head to growgroupinc.com for more information and resources to grow your landscaping business. A special thanks to the folks at Steel, whose support makes this podcast possible and whose reliable handheld power equipment makes our jobs easier daily. We'll talk to you next week.